Daniel, sorry, bro. I was indisposed for a couple of moments. Good morning. I was getting my son's gadget here out of his bedroom. New Zealand. Eds. How are you, Eds? Kumusta? Magandang umaga. Mahayong buntag. I got that music up a little bit loud at the moment. Tell me to turn it down if you can't hear me. What are you doing, Ed? What do you do in New Zealand? I'm kind of competing with music as well. Halfway down there. Is that better? And what part of New Zealand? You just got home from work. What time? Are you in? I know I asked you this before. Are you OFW? Or you're in the Philippines? I'm trying to gauge what time it is where you are. If you're in the Philippines, I know what time it is. Okay, what am I doing here? Okay, I found it. Oh, am I blurry? It looks blurry on YouTube. Maybe it's the quality that I have it set. Nope. It looks blurry on YouTube. It looks clear on my TV. 11:55 there in New Zealand. It's 8:55 or 56 on the East Coast, USA. New Jersey. You're blurry. Yes. Looks like you're wearing a retarded Trump hat. Must be the blur. Must be, brah. Seriously, Eds, am I blurry or is it clear? It's clear on my TV, but it's blurry on the YouTube. No, it's really blurry. I wonder why. Because I got it on this autofocus, or not autofocus, but a little blurry on your computer screen. That's weird. Hold on a second. And now Dan says it's good. Or is that what you were referring to, Daniel? The screen is blurry. Actually, it's a little clearer now. Oh, you know what? I put it on autofocus. And yeah, that might have been the problem. Yeah. There's an autofocus on the side. It's a digital SLR. Very good. Okay. Good to go. Thank you, whoever you are, unforeseen. Well, I'm waiting to see if this hat triggered the slew of visitors like it did last night. And I'm going to tell a story here in a second. A emergency medical story, pre-hospital story. What part of the world are you, unforeseen? Ha! You're amazing, joke. That's right. Actually, it wasn't okay, but no, I'm not, Donnie. Scotland. Very good. Wow, isn't that funny that Donnie, LOL, of you said, "Are you part Polish?" And I'm not. And then you said Scotland, and that's my background, as you can see by my original spelling of my last name, MacKay. I know that girl. What's up, girl? Isn't it? Yep. And where are you? Glasgow, Edinburgh, I'm guessing the big cities. So it's near one of the two, probably. Glasgow. Yep. There you go. Who else are you going to vote for? Right? Guy's brilliant. You know, I look at it this way. In a Aberdeen, Aberdeen, um, you don't hear about Aberdeen as much. Um, I was going to say, in a nutshell, here's my play on Trump. If I was here and I was looking at resumes, you know, trying to see who's qualified for my job, my company, and I came across Trump's resume and saw what he's accomplished from a business standpoint, that would get my attention big time. And for what he's accomplished and what he can accomplish, are you kidding? Why would you not have a person on your team such as Trump? Oh, well, I mean, you can disagree, but he's brilliant. Like someone else said earlier in his first campaign, I wish I thought like Trump. Crystal, don't work too hard, Crystal. But I'm not here to talk about Trump. But I'll talk about him a little bit. But you know, it's like the presidency. You know, he holds a position, and that position deserves, quote, respect, unquote. Not necessarily the person. You know, the person might be like Trump when he opens his mouth. But it's kind of on a different note. But anyways, yeah. Actually, it's not the world. It's the media, bro. That's where you're getting your information, correct? Remember, the media is covering, oh my gosh, I can't even put it on paper. The minute percentage that it represents the world or the USA when you're listening to the USA media. Do you think the media actually covers what I do on a daily basis and who I am and what my day is like? Yeah, from a lot of places. The media, come on, where else do you get your information? Do you ever get your information from him and him alone? Alone. Oh, I'm not making assumptions. Not at all. I can state for a fact that media does not represent 370 million people here in the USA. When you see the media and you see the television and you see a group of people on that picture, how many people does that represent? You know, you see a riot in a city. Still, how many people do you actually see in a riot compared to 376 zeros after that? That's not an assumption. That's an absolute fact. No, I never said all. No, you're assuming I said all. So, anyways, as a paramedic, I was up in Delano, California. It's a small agricultural town. At the time, around 2000, 2004, the population was about 30,000 people. Let me turn that music further down. Um, yeah, large agricultural community in the San Joaquin Valley of California. Sorry, I'm multitasking here. And I was working as a paramedic, hence the name Doc. Actually, that comes from being a Navy corpsman in the United States Navy. The United States Marines call their corpsman Doc. So that's where we get that moniker, or where I got that. But I was also a civilian paramedic. So I'm going to tell a story about a call that I ran up in Delano. So in the San Joaquin Valley is this um, small town of about 30,000 people. Orlando. And I was doing, gosh, I'm trying to remember, like 72-hour shifts. I spent like 2 or 3 days in an apartment, and we just slept there and lived there and ran calls. Yeah, so, and it was an EMT partnership. Paramedics are EMTs, emergency medical technicians, but we're EMTPs, and my partner was a EMT basic or an EMT A for ambulance. He usually basic life support versus advanced life support. So partner was, I think it was Paul. It was a Filipino, one of the Filipino guys I worked with. And there was a motor vehicle accident. Hey, Lynn. We get the call as a motor vehicle accident, which is fairly vague, as far as what it involves, the who, what, when, where, why of the call. But we always speculate before we get there, and or trying to put together what we might be running into based on where we're going, the information we received, and so on. And that's all we got was a motor vehicle accident. So we responded not to a street per se scene. It was I think it was an apartment complex in a parking lot. And there was, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 people, girl screaming out of control. She was outside the car and screaming, help him, oh my God, something like that. And firefighters are on scene, we're on scene, we're trying to figure out, okay, what's going on? There's not 2 vehicles, just 1 car. And it's not even damaged. It's just sitting by itself with the driver door open. And there's nobody in the car. There's nobody in the driver's seat. So we're asking, what's going on? And the girl's like, help him. He's right there. And we're like, right where? And she keeps pointing like at the car, and they're trying to keep her back. And we're trying to figure out, like, what the heck's going on? And then somebody taps me on the shoulder, and he's like, Gary, look. And they're pointing underneath the car. And I look underneath the driver's side, right underneath the floorboard there on the driver's side. And there's a body under there. I mean, it doesn't look like a body, but it's a big, massive body stuffed underneath the floorboard between the asphalt and the bottom of the car. I mean, how much? On a regular car, 4 to 6 inches, off the pavement. And there's a ball of clothes and what looks like, flesh underneath the car. And it happened, here's the story, apparently. He was there with friends and doing donuts in the parking lot with his, I don't know what kind of car he had, small car. And somehow got pulled out of the car or thrown. If he was thrown, I was trying to review this in my head before I told the story. He must have been going clockwise, if the momentum threw him out of the car, out of the driver's seat on the left side. But anyways, it threw him out of the car somehow, and his own car ran over himself. And there he was, all in a ball, like folded over in this ball underneath the car. And he was what we call DRT. He was dead right there. And underneath this vehicle, I don't even remember if firefighters got him out of from underneath there or what we did, but we ended up calling him on scene. But yeah, I guess the girlfriend either witnessed it or she was in the car or whatever. But so it really wasn't much of a call. We had nobody to take care of, but bizarre things that you get into out there on the street. Did you hang around there, Mr. Sorry, Unforeseen? Orlando, ¿cómo está? Lynn. Oh, Lynn, you're what, around 4 in the afternoon? I wonder off the. Oh, oh, good, good. Yeah. Oh, you're going to stop. I asked you earlier, what part of the world are you in? Are you in the USA or? Oh, wait, you did say Scotland. Sorry, sorry, sorry. See, that shows my memory. Right? Yeah, yeah. Sorry. I'm I'm not focusing. Speaking of focus. Yeah, what's another crazy bizarre story? Somebody last night the conversation sparked that memory of that call. And I thought, I haven't told that call before. I do have other stories, a few stories I've already told in my uh, paramedic, um, what do you call it? Folder, not folder, but uh, what are they called? What are the different tabs, the different chapters in your YouTube, on your YouTube channel? Um, Tabs, is that it? Uh, where I've told stories of various calls that I ran in the past. Ask me a question regarding EMS. Maybe that'll fentanyl. Well, let me kind of catch you up to date as far as where I'm at in my emergency medical career. I no longer work as a paramedic. I work from 19, let's see, I became a paramedic in 1993. I got into the business in 1989. And then no, not the shorts, but anyways, um, I began pre-hospital emergency medicine in 1989. And then I went back to school in 92 and became a paramedic in 93. And I worked as a paramedic up until 2008, where I stepped away from it. And my Navy career ended, or the term ended, contract, thank you. My 8-year contract ended in 2007. And I chose to, thank you very much, and step away from the Navy in 2007 as well. So I'm telling stories about my past. As far as fentanyl wasn't even heard of back in 2008. It was still just heroin and or our narcotic overdose, as we called it. Yeah, fentanyl came a little later. Speaking of, here, see what I said when you mentioned fentanyl. I do have a fentanyl story, but it's not my call, but it's a personal story that I encountered. Um, I got involved in a program called Reformers Unanimous International, or RUI. It's a Christ-centered um, program for sinners. Do you know any? So, in other words, the program's for everyone. But it was originally founded by a guy named Steve Currington in Rockford, Illinois, uh, for quote addictions, those with addictions unquote. Well, the word addiction kind of has a uh, automatic um, what's the word about it, and people associate alcoholism, drug addiction, da 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 da. When you hear that word, where in reality it could be anything. You could be addicted to YouTube. As a matter of fact, I heard of a man, an older man who had an addiction to renting videos. Stigma, there you go. Yeah, I found out that actually he was in one of the chapters when I was attending in San Diego, California. And he revealed, he had a problem with renting videos from those video kiosks out in front of the markets or out in front of a business. You put in the money and you rent a video, push a button, and the video drops down like a vending machine. Yeah, he said he would rent videos and not even watch them, and he'd have them stacked up at his house. Go figure. Lori, Lori, turn in. Good morning, my time. Good morning, wherever you are, Lori. ¿Cómo está? I think you're Filipina. Lori, are you? Yeah, you're Filipina. Yeah, it was. I mean, you hear about I should say we. I heard all kinds of bizarre quote addictions unquote. So, anyways, back to the program. Yeah, I was going to tell. What was I saying? Help me out, unforeseen. I was telling about a um, fentanyl. Uh, if fast forward, I eventually moved here to New Jersey and resumed that program in a church up in Gloucester County, New Jersey. And then the pastor of the church asked me to be the director of the program. And so I took that, and I had an assistant or a co-director who was working with me. He had his addiction was cocaine. I think it was coke. Yeah. He was a veteran, and I used to go to the veterans. It was I don't know, we call it a halfway house, I guess. Not a halfway house, but it was a veteran-sponsored home. Maybe it was a homeless shelter. Anyways, and so I would go there and pick him up and bring him to the program, and he would help me direct this program. Well, he eventually, I get a phone call from the pastor saying, "Hey, Gary, remember what was his name? Randy. Remember Randy? I was like, yeah, he's on vacation in Texas visiting family or something. Yeah, why? And he's like, yeah, I just got a phone call that they found him dead in his apartment, apparently from a fentanyl overdose. And I went, no way. He's like, yep. I was thinking, he was just at Friday night, at the Friday night meeting last week. I was gonna, if he wasn't on vacation, I would have picked him up, same place. But yeah, fentanyl was a big issue here in Philadelphia. I'm like an hour away from Philly, and yeah, it ended up killing, my co-director and others, but him in particular. Whether he knew it was in it. The, the rumors I've heard is you get, you end up buying something and don't know that it has fentanyl in it, and then that ends up taking your life. Right there, Kensington, unforeseen. Been there, drove through there when I picked him up. Yep, bad place. Yeah, I had on that note, I remember driving away from the program, or like at night, 9:30. It usually ended around 9:30, and I'm driving home, and I came across a stop sign, four-way intersection. And when I came to the stop sign, all of a sudden I hear this on my car window, and I was like, "Whoa!" Right here on my left side, and there's this young, emaciated-looking kid, and he's like, and I was like, "What the?" He's looking for money for extracurricular activities on the side. And I was like, dude, and I put on the accelerator and I drove away. Thank God my door was locked. But that's pretty sad. It was. Kind of put your blinders on as you're driving down the road. Matter of fact, the facility was in a barbed wire gated little area parking of the parking lot. Yep. Yeah, I used to go in, check him out. He'd come out, we'd get in the car, and he'd have a little fob that he'd push to open the gate, and we'd drive out, go back over the bridge, and back into New Jersey. Yeah. Ah, talk to me, guys, ladies. Lori, are you there? Lori, Tornia. Where are you, Lori? Are you in the Philippines, or are you, if you hear the term OFW, it's overseas foreign workers, if you didn't know, unforeseen. Very popular. I found out not only in the Philippines, but all over the world, people leaving their country to find work elsewhere in foreign countries. In the Philippines, they call them OFWs. Yeah, good question. Um, for the offenders, you just gotta keep, I guess, going to the source and trying to in where it's manufactured. And then I'm thinking of fentanyl or cocaine or heroin, and try to stop it there. Or Let them produce it in their foreign countries, but then try to keep it from entering. What would you do if it was your home? How would you prevent, uh, drugs from, or guys coming up to your door and knocking on your door, selling, or like that guy knocking on my window who ran up to my car. How do you prevent that? Well, speaking of Trump, um, what he did to help curb that at the border, getting help from the president of the country itself and asking for, or telling him to provide, uh, you know, law enforcement at the border to help out. Oh, at education. Here I'm gonna open this chapter or open this book, but um, it boils down to the basics. What is right and wrong, and then you got to ask, well, what is right and what is wrong? And there has to be, there, I shouldn't say there, it has to be, there is, an answer to that. And you've got to start there and enforce what is right and enforce what is wrong. Everybody's got to be on the same page when it comes to that. You can't have people thinking, their own thoughts on what is right and what is wrong. Yeah, I know, but there are different answers to what is right and what is wrong. Hitler thought what he did was right, right? So why not adopt his mindset? He thought it was right. Why isn't his way? Why is his way wrong? That's what I'm not referring to, the different ways of dealing with, you know, with with what is wrong. I'm just referring to, no, but I'm talking about, we have to start with what is right and what is wrong. Everybody's got to be on the same page. And then once we establish that, it's actually been established already. People have just elected to form their own opinions as to what is right and what is wrong. And then we start having legalization of things that used to be wrong. And you can fill in the blank. That's what I'm referring to. You see, those people, those people thought it was right to legalize marijuana, for example. You see there, where before it was wrong, now it's right. So what is wrong and what is right? That's what I'm referring to. You got to be on the same page, or otherwise you're going to have legalization of fentanyl maybe one day. Why? Because people have different approaches to dealing with. I'm reading your comment. You see? So we're not on the same, obviously, we're not on the same page. Not you and me. I'm talking about people that made these decisions to legalize, certain things. Not on the same page. Why was it wrong for Hitler to exterminate people? Where's the foundation? Where's the rule book for what he did? and as to whether or not that was right or wrong. A cheetah doesn't think twice to murder a gazelle. So why is it wrong for us to, when I'm hungry, to go out and kill a fellow human and eat him for dinner? Right? What makes that wrong? And who says? What rule book did that come from? Where did that stem from? Reefer madness. But yeah, I'm still waiting for a another call to pop into my memory. I have a plethora of stories to tell, and I think it's so cool to share these stories with people because they're stories that you most people don't even realize is happens in their neighbor's home next door. you know and that was my job, for years, was to walk into just a stranger's home and try to put a puzzle together, within 20, 30 minutes, and put together a picture to or um, a method of helping the person based on what I'm seeing. And it's pretty bizarre. It's pretty cool job to have. It didn't pay well, but yep, I do. I think it is. Absolutely. From it, especially being in the medical field, it's like tattooing. Now that you're going to bring that up, um, your skin is the largest organ of your body. Why, pray tell, would anybody want to carve into the largest organ of your body? Cut. And I'm not exaggerating. That's what we're doing. That's what tattooing is. And I know the arguments and how many years it's been around and so on and so forth. But from a medical standpoint, is it right to cut into the largest organ of your body? No, of course not. Why would you? Why would I want to scar and mar the largest organ of my body? Just doesn't make sense. That's obviously not right. It's just, why would you purposely make yourself bleed? So legalizing cannabis? No, it's wrong. Why? Because it compromises you. I've never done that. Who hasn't? I used to try to rock climb while I was high on pot. Thinking it would give me better focus. How many? I'm holding up my fingers like Eastern meditation. Oh, I can focus better on pot. Yeah, right. There you go. I mean, come on. It's like cannabis is like alcohol as far as the legalization of it. You know, I have enough problems dealing with life and what this world has to throw at me, let alone to allow anything else into my life to have problems with. I have enough problems just dealing with sitting here on the couch in my house. What goes into my eyes, ears, nose, mouth, things I touch, places I go, people I see. Yeah, I know. And there's always examples of, people always seem to bring in uh, various examples of why it's okay to do something. And they'll like yourself, you'll bring up um, proven medicinal properties for certain illnesses and so on. Well, I'm not saying it, I would be against that, but that's just an example of how cannabis got passed. How many people that are growing, distributing, and using marijuana in California are suffering from Parkinson's? Really, that get a hold of it, that smoke it. It's legalized here now in New Jersey. I go to the campus. I'm pointing behind me. I go to the college campus, the state college campus, to go fishing in my kayak. They got a beautiful lake on their campus, and it's open. Smoking dope on the campus, and I'm thinking, really, everybody's suffering from Parkinson's or what? Obviously not. But I think you get my drift. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Numbered. It's a good point. Well, in that, aren't you supporting what I'm saying by saying that alcohol in every metric is worse for society? So, yeah, that's just an example of why I would be against it. Did I drink alcohol? Of course I did. You know, been there, done that too, or also. But is it good for you? Is it really gonna take care of you? No, no, it's not. Of course not. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're comparing alcohol is in every metric worse for society, whereas marijuana has its benefits. Yeah, if you want to use it as a drug to treat, a debilitating illness, I mean, sure. But from a from a societal standpoint, is marijuana, good for those that get a hold of it or those that can get a hold of it? Yeah, I understand. There's, but is better, but society as a whole, from the numbers, you mean? There's more benefit in cannabis as opposed to alcohol. But as you are seeing, yeah, girl in the mirror, thanks for hanging out there in the background. Right, right. Yeah. But my point is, the I'm going to take an educated guess and say, the majority of people that use cannabis aren't suffering from seizures, and they don't have epilepsy, and they don't have I'm sorry, the other Parkinson's. Yeah. I mean, just I'm a I'm an ex-user of the stuff, and it didn't it didn't it didn't do me any good. It just compromised me. God forbid I were to get into an accident, and be high. It's not going to go well. Or I was rock climbing in Yosemite, or anywhere, and be high on, marijuana and have an accident. I mean, how do you think that would go in the emergency room? What? Duh. Yeah, my own. Speaking of, now that we're talking about a little bit of both, um, that brings up another story where I was in Southern California. There's a rock climbing area there called. There's two Indian, or there's an Indian, a lot of Indian, native Indian uh, influence in the names. And this one climbing area was called Tahquitz, Tahquitz, Tahquitz Rock. And the other rock across the valley was Suicide Rock, speaking of. And don't know how it got its name, but we can assume. But I was over on Suicide Rock with a friend climbing. And matter of fact, his name's Ken. I'm liaisoning with him currently and via email, talking about rock climbing shoes. But him and I were at um, Suicide Rock, also called, yeah, Suicide Rock. The other one's got two names. But anyways, and we were smoking out, getting stoned before we climb. It's an arduous, tiring approach, about an hour to get up to the base of the rock. And then we usually take out our lunch or whatever our munchies are, and we'll have lunch before we climb, or a snack, and smoke out. And then once we're nice and buzzed, we rope up and start climbing. And it was really my first time getting high before climbing, but he convinced me. He had better focus, and it calmed him down, helped him remain calm. So I thought, sure, let's do it. So I smoked out with him, and then I was what we call on the lead. I was the first climber to climb up, and then once I reach a high point, I bring him up on a rope. And I was on the lead, the first person, and I remember being up there, 50 feet off the deck, placing my protection, and all of a sudden it's like I had blinders on. It's like almost like physical blinders all of a sudden just appeared on each side of my eyeballs. And I couldn't see off to my left or my right. And I really had to exaggerate and turn my head so I could see to my left and to my right. And I thought, OMG, you know, this this is not normal. I think I know what's causing this. And I remember asking for tension, meaning, keep the rope tight, to Ken. And I just said, give me tension and I'm going to lower down. He's like, what's going on? I said, just lower me down. And so he gave me tension, and I walked down the rock, back down to the ground. And I said, dude, I think you need to go ahead. He's like, what's going on? And I told him, and he's like, really? And I said, yes. I said, that's not good up there. And he's like, sure, man, I'll do it. And so he led it. And I remember kind of calling it short for the day and said, dude, let's try this another day and not do this next time. I said, that wasn't a good experience up there. But yeah, that's when I realized, okay, no more smoking before I rock climb. It didn't sharpen my focus, that's for sure. But yeah, speaking of rock climbing, that was right, right. We were two lean, rock climbing machines, in our life, and uh, in our late 20s or thereabouts, probably. And he was an animal. He still is at 61, the same age as I am, and or is Ken a year younger than I am. And but and he would have been just fine, not stoned. So yeah, we can. I used to think a lot of things when I was stoned. May I ask, unforeseen, what age group? Yeah, for any. I'm going to say any activity. I asked. Yeah, what age group are you in? 31. My elder children are just a bit older than you. My daughter's 35 and my son's 39. Can't believe he's going to be 40 this year. Yeah, she'll be 36 in August, and he'll be 40 in November. Well, I'm glad I found that autofocus button. Yeah, us millennials. That's another thing that I haven't been like I haven't stayed up to date with is the names of the different generations. The X generation, millennials, and it's like I have a 19-year-old. He's actually still sleeping, but and he can educate me. He educates me all the time on the names of the different generations. And I'm like, I'm lost. I didn't follow that at all. So your generation are the millennials? Is that right? Yeah, baby boomer. I think that's what. And now, as you know, they use that boomer part um, in the wrong context, or they use it as a. I'm struggling with the adjective to describe in an unkind way. Correct. Yeah, 81 to 96. That's my kids. My son was 84, and my daughter was 88. Yeah. Yeah, I would be your dad. So if your dad's a baby boomer, then right, exactly. Out of touch people. You know what? And we used to say that about our parents. What were they? Out of touch people. How untrue that is. Physically, I used to. I used to use my physical fitness to counter that. I'd stay up with you young punks and then some. Most of the kids that I grew up with, or that I was, that was around me, weren't in the shape I was in. I'd run circles around them. And who's out of touch? Yeah. I was in the best shape of my life at 53. As a matter of fact, I just recently started getting back on the wagon, I guess you call it, and trying to get back into rock climbing shape. I've been on the couch for 8 years, and it just did nothing but hurt me. And lately, there you go. Okay. Uh, I started a program to not only drop weight so that I could get back into shape, and I'm doing well. I've never really been heavy, but I'm kind of a skinny kid, anyways. But that's my goal, is to get back. Hey, shopkeeper. Hey, just to let you know, I've got a technical issue, shopkeeper. He's probably asking if I can see him, and no, I cannot. And there's a glitch somehow where I've lost him. He's not on my ban or ignore list in YouTube Studio. Maybe you can help troubleshoot this unforeseen. But I've got a message to YouTube support, and I'm trying to ask them, how do I get this guy back so that I can see him? He's actually a moderator for me. I've given him the blue highlight on his name. He's a standard moderator on my list in Studio. And somehow I inadvertently blocked him. But if I blocked him, he would show up on my block list, at least as far as I know, in YouTube Studio. Every time you block somebody, you can either manually put them on the block list, or um, by copying and pasting their YouTube URL and then going and adding that to the list. Or you can just click on the three dots next to the person's name here in the chat room and click on block, and their name will appear on your block list. And you can go to that list and unblock them if you want. Well, his name's not on my block list, but I can't see him. You can, but I can't. And so he's talking to me through you, for example. Now, when I go to his channel, he can see me. My name appears. Oh, and if he comes up on stage, I can bring him up on stage with me right now if I invite him. He'll come up and I can see him, but in the chat room, he's gone. And I don't know how to reverse that. And he doesn't either. And we're trying to figure out. Here, I'm going to touche your comment. For example, unforeseen. Since I'm a boomer and I'm out of touch, I figured I would ask somebody like a millennial who is not out of touch, and he or she might be able to help me with this problem. But apparently, you're out of touch also. One way to solve. How would you do that? Develop another name, another channel, and come back, and then I'll be able to see him. Actually, he does that. He uses a ninja, they call it. Your main channel, if you don't have a brand channel. Yeah, make another account. Or, for example, I'm using Doc MacKay. That's my brand channel. The since Google, since I'm out of touch, since Google has purchased YouTube, your Google account now is your main channel for YouTube, or you're using your main channel name um, as your primary uh, name in chat. But I'm not. I'm using a brand channel. Yeah, that's one way. He did that the other day. I think when he came up on stage, he was using his other account. But I'd like to know, what can I do to? I thought of something else. Oh, I did this also, shopkeeper. I I went ahead and copied your URL of your YouTube channel, and I put you on my block list. And then I saved it, and then I went back and I took you off the block list to see if that maybe kicked the YouTube in the head and reset it or something. But that didn't work either. So Irene, Irene, do you ream to the left or ream to the left or to the right? Magandang gabi. It's morning here. Magandang umaga, Irene. Kumusta? Oh, if you didn't know, no, I know that, and I'm playing on the um, misinformation. God, you remind me of my son. Um, but I'm real critical when it comes to what exactly somebody said and what they meant. And my point was, what you posted was that those of my era are called boomers, or people that are out of touch. Not so much that you said it, but you said it in your chat. So I got to be a little more clear to avoid the miscommunications. You see here's me and my argumentative side with you with that unforeseen. And therefore, since you did write that and it did come out of your thought process that boomers have a um, that boomers have been denoted to be misinformed, that that's interesting that you would know that. Hmm. Things that make you go, hmm. anyways, so what are the chances that you think that as well, right? That's right. Here, let me help you with that. Let me, if I might disappear. Sometimes I'm on a smart TV, broadcasting on my smart TV, and I'm using the browser through the smart TV, and it's very limited. It's through the Xbox, i.e., the Xbox controller. And when I go to another tab, it doesn't have the ability to maintain um, the windows that a laptop would, for example, opening up multiple tabs and minimizing and moving the windows around on the screen. Can't do that on Xbox. It's very limited. And so when I go to another tab, it'll drop me off of the live stream. It won't end it, but it'll just drop the video. Usually I'll stop the cam such as this, and then I'll try to go to another tab, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. There's the word I was looking for. Derogatory. Dang it. Yeah, that earlier I was trying to say people use it in the derogatory sense all the time. You boomer. It's like a cuss word. You're just a boomer. Get out of here, boomer. So anyways, I was going to say, I was going to help you with, but knowing something is not believing it, right? Well, get this. I've studied actually those two words, and not that you're not correct, but in order to believe something, you need to know it. You need to understand it. So if you truly understand something, you believe it. So is that in the realm of knowing? If you truly know something, you believe it. Absolutely. That's the only way you can believe something, if you truly understand it. It's the truth. Study it yourself. It's the truth. But people here, and to add to that, and it's even in the good old Noah Webster even writes it back when he published his dictionary in 1828, his first edition. He even said back then that the very end, the very last definition of believe is today. Let me read it to you. It's interesting. Anyways, you know what this is, right? You know what this is? It's a rowboat. You're rowing back upstream, um, or this one. You're digging yourself out of a hole, right? Okay. Um, on that note, even Noah Webster said, but believe in his day was even, let me read it to you, is used the way, yeah, rowing. Um, even in his day, people used the word to believe something to denote more, I think, or I assume. Wait, what is it? Let me look it up here. Pardon me for a second. I might hang in there, or if I drop off the screen and go blank, don't worry, don't leave. I'll be right back. But let me try this. Oh no! Wait. I can do it this way. I've got a phone. Sorry. Um, let me see if I can just good old bring up Noah Webster's 1828. I use 1828 all the time, and read what it says about believe. There it is, online dictionary. I've read this so many times, and it's so good. Believe, to credit upon the authority or testimony of another, to be persuaded of the truth of something upon the declaration of another, or upon evidence, there's the key, furnished by reasons, arguments, and deductions of the mind, or by circumstances than personal knowledge. When we believe upon the authority of another, we always put confidence in its veracity. When we believe upon the authority of reasoning, arguments, or a concurrence of facts and circumstances, we rest our conclusions upon their strength or probability, their agreement with our own experience, etc. At the very end of the definition of believe, it says, in popular use, get this. This is awesome because this is today. When in popular use and familiar discourse, to believe often expresses an opinion in a vague manner without a very exact estimate of evidence, noting a mere preponderance of opinion, and is nearly equivalent to I think or I suppose. And that's perfect. That is, I'm pointing at your comment, is really how you use the word to believe. I think, or it's your opinion, or I suppose, where in reality you really don't believe it. Because if you truly knew and understood upon the evidence that was supported, then you would believe. Did I say that right? If you truly understand or know, then you would believe. So when, like I'm using my sister, for example, she'd say, oh, I believe that when somebody dies, their spirit, like if they're a sailor, their spirit is out on the ocean. And it's like, well, no, it's more correct to say, I think, or I suppose that that's where they are, because they truly don't believe. Because if they did, they wouldn't be saying that. It is. It's really interesting. And if you, that program I mentioned, was it you I mentioned earlier? Yeah, the Reforming Unanimous program. That's what got me to dissect and define words. And I've been doing it for 17 years, and it's rocking my world. To go back and to see like the original definition of a word and how it was meant to be used, and now to see how words are used today, it just saddens me to see how wrongfully people are using words, that were originally meant to mean something. Like the word, for example, the word, I'm going to use the word, pervert. If I say the word pervert, what's the first thing you think of? What's the first thing that comes to mind? I mean, it's kind of obvious. You call somebody a pervert, and you're referring to them. Oh, you're using, yeah. So, and you look at the actual definition of pervert, and it's really not pervert. That's an adjective, describing somebody. But to pervert something, yeah, I understand. It's just to use something. I'm trying to, in an inordinate way that it's designed to be used. Like you can pervert, the use of anything. You can pervert sex. You can pervert anything. So if you're perverting something, does that make you a pervert? As it's used today? No. But you say that word and you're going to turn heads, and immediately, somebody's going to be looking or thinking something about that person or you. Where in reality, you look at the definition and it's like, no, no, no. That isn't what it was designed. That wasn't how the word was designed to be used. You can pervert drugs. You can pervert anything. Yeah, sexual deviant. And it's sad because it's, but that's just been another example of, when I started dissecting, defining, it was part of the curriculum, of a way of studying the curriculum for this program, Reform is Unanimous, dissecting and defining and memorizing. And it, it took me, it just opened my eyes. I realized, oh my gosh, the word believe is another example. Correct. Yeah. And yet I'm now thinking of my own son, my eldest son, who's 7 years older than you are. He's like, oh, that's the evolution of language, Dad. And I'm like, what? The evolution of language? Yeah, for example, and he spits out, kind of like yourself. When I said earlier, you remind me of my son. The evolution of the English language. I'm like, really? What? Like one day the word door is going to mean something else, and because society uses it in such a way that we got to accept that door no longer means something that you open in order to get inside of, a home. Gary, is that how language works? It's like where did the original definition of something come from? Again, back to what we were saying earlier. What is the truth? Yeah. What is the actual truth about the definition of that word? Where did it come from? Why? Who? Is it the truth? Is it the definition or isn't it? Or is it up for bastardization? If you leave it in the hands of us, our stinking thinking, you're going to have the bastardization of the word. And it's going to be the accepted truth eventually. Back to what we were saying earlier. What is the truth? What is right? Where did it come from? What is wrong? Why is what Hitler did wrong compared to what a lion does to a gazelle? Right? We're just according to some people, we're just the evolution of pond scum in the beginning. That's another subject, another day. We got all different people coming up with different brilliant, stinking thinking ideas as to what is right. Just remember, unforeseen, we all came from the same place. There's only one truth. Only one. Only one. Here, let me throw this one at you. Something to think about. Is there a possibility you could be wrong about anything you know? It's like an obvious answer. Obvious answer is there's a possibility I could be wrong about anything I know, right? Well, the question to that is, are you sure about that? Are you sure? No, there's no chance you could be wrong about anything you know. So you know everything? Yeah, yes. The only correct answer for that question is no. But you can't say that, and I can't either. Because in order not to be wrong about anything, I'd have to know everything, right? You see? So there is an answer to everything. There's only one answer. You and I came from that answer. And everyone else. We all came from the same way, the same truth, and the same life. It's that easy. It really is. It's just up to people to believe that. Like I said earlier, and it's up to everyone to be on the same page about everything. And then we have these different ideas as to what is right and what is wrong. There's only one way. There's only one truth. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of cliches out there, aren't they? Aren't there? Unforeseen. I use that all the time. I've realized that now. Like, man, this world is full of cliches. We just think things off the top of our head because it sounds good and it applies to what we're saying or the conversation that we're in. And in reality, we don't even know what we're saying. It's like, here, there's a little plug for you. If you want to, um, if you want to use the online Noah Webster's. I'm assuming you know who, or you've heard of who Noah Webster was. You know what? And that's true. Me too. I'm right there. Um, I found the truth. Okay, bottom line, and I believe it. There, back to what I was saying. Um, because I've studied it, and the evidence is pointing towards being proved wrong, i.e., me, and I don't have to be right anymore because I know the truth, and the truth made me free from wanting being right all the time. So I'm not right anymore because I know what's right. And I try to use that to support what I say now. And that's not being arrogant. I've been told that, oh, that's just being arrogant. No, it's not. I know. I don't have to be right anymore. I've been being proved wrong for the last 17 years finally. And it's just rocking my world. It just changed my life because I can refer to the truth, and I've been studying it, and it just makes so much sense. It's running circles around what I was taught all those years in school. Jen, thank you, Jen. Thank you guys for coming in and finding me again. Yeah, the truth is, I've been biting my tongue to not go into detail, but I got scientific journals on my coffee table right now. I'm pointing at. I get every quarterly, 3 months, and it's based on the truth, science, based on the truth. You know, geologists, archaeologists, physicists, what other science fields of science, all the fields of science, articles based on these different fields of science, based on the truth, with the truth foundation. And I'm just shaking my head. It's been rocking my world for 17 years. And I ask all the time, where in the world has this been? Why am I just now finding out about this, in my later adult life? Where has it been? And come to find out the publications have been started printed when I graduated from high school in 1980. And I went, what? For 40 years, I've been missing out on this stuff? And the answer is like, yep. And I actually get upset. It's like, how dare them to hide this information from us? Why didn't I learn this in school? How come nobody told me about this? Why was I fed contrary to what I'm learning now? I'm relearning science for the first time. I mean, I've been relearning sciences the last 17 years. My son had an opportunity to, I'm pointing behind me. My son had an opportunity to be raised, in this curriculum. He's only 3 years behind me as far as education goes. He's only 19 and I'm 61. What's wrong with that picture? It's just like, why am I just now learning, these things? I don't know if you're still there, unforeseen or not. Kurt Ned, ¿cómo está? You're back. Jen, how are you? Yeah, ironic that you say that. We were just talking about this. Just recently, unforeseen. Who was it? We were just talking this exactly what you just said. There was Mabuti po, Kurt, naman, salamat. Yeah, we were just talking about this, and whoever it was that I can't remember, I was talking to, had an alternative. Was it my son? Yes, it was my son. Oh my God, I couldn't remember. My son, we were going out to lunch and we actually got into a little bit of it was supposed to be a debate, turned out to be a little disagreement, but we got back on the same page and ironed things out, smoothed things out. But we were talking about our alternative ways of teaching the young people. And we were trying to come up with suggestions. Yeah, but be careful with that. Just accept that you had a lot to say, but we were molded by our teachers and our educators, so on, and our parents. But it's not too late. Unforeseen. Maybe running into me is going to be a blessing as far as how you go about looking at and learning, looking and learning from now on. Yeah, don't. I got a book actually that talks about shifting the blame, and that's what I pointed at your comment. about people who should have helped me. We do that a lot, blaming society, our socioeconomical background. I'm just giving examples of different things that we use, to blame others for our shortcomings instead of accepting the blame. That program I was telling you about addresses that. And yeah, it changed my world. The truth made me free. Don't get me wrong, I still struggle. I live in the same world you do. But as far as my resources and the source that I go to, is just changed my world. Changed my world. Example, let me plug this book. I use it all the time, but here, it addresses exactly what I was saying earlier. The name of this book, if you can see that. Evolution, the Greatest Deception in Modern History, by Dr. Roger G. Gallo. Or where is he? He's over here. It's an example of the literature that has been flooding my coffee table for the last 17 years. And that's directly relating to what's been out there for 40 years that I never heard about. But good stuff. Actually, if you want a website where you can find that book and other resources that I subscribe to, is very easy website, creation.com. That's the name of the website where I got that book. I'm typing it in here so you can. Simple enough, creation.com. Got a search bar at the top. Ask any question. More than likely, they've got an article written by an esteemed scientist in regards to your question. Any big question that you want. Are we this? Are we that? Where did this come from? What about this? What about that? Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm going to a conference June 9th, this coming Sunday. I think it's this coming Sunday, about 30 miles south of me. A speaker from the Creation Ministries is going to be speaking. It's a free conference. And I follow him on YouTube and read his articles. He's a biologist slash geneticist. That was what he got his award for, was genetics in his field of biology. But now he's studying human genes and DNA, and he's got a plethora of articles and videos on it, and it's just rocking I use that expression, rocking my world, to hear him speak. and his findings, and he presents it like it's like you're in class. And I'm just like, whoa, my jaw is dropping. It's profound. I was like, dude, this is good. This is really good. There's no debate his findings, his results. Yeah, just keep an open mind. That's all I can say. Keep an open mind, and be the the astute researcher it appears you are, and allow everything into your up here, and study it, and research it, try it, test it, just like anything else. Be skeptical. Don't, and you don't, and I see that you don't come to conclusions quickly. You allow a lot. Actually, you corrected me a few times, that I was assuming. Is good. That's you won't have to be right. If you get to the point where I'm at now, unforeseen. Yeah, I know. And you know what? I'm more skeptical now than any time in my life, because what I know now is it's like becoming everything. I got to be careful. It's like so much around me now is so contrary to what I'm learning. It's like my life that I learned, that I grew up in, is contrary to what I'm learning. Speaking of being skeptical, it's like everything I hear now, not everything, so much what I hear now, I see now, is just wrong. It's just wrong. There's no weight. It holds no weight. And I'm just like, no, be careful what you say. you know? Yeah. Well, you know what? I do, I go off on tangents a lot, but it, the, what getting lost in rabbit holes is not unusual. I mean, gosh, that's society takes you down rabbit holes, and we get sucked into them. And if I'm using that in the context it should be, but rabbit holes, that is. But this, the truth, I keep referring to it because it is. The truth will keep you focused. And if you stay focused, don't get, don't, it will though, you will get deviated, but just stay focused. Stay focused on the truth, and you won't go astray. It's like I said, it changed my life, and I'll never go back. Nothing, nothing is contrary to the truth. I mean, in my mind, I know what the answer is, and if it doesn't line up with that, it ain't the truth. The truth is good. It's so good. That's why it's so good. Ate Ning, welcome back. Oh, I didn't forget about you up there. Uh, is it Kurt? Neat that commented? Yeah, it was you. What time are you guys going to sleep yet? A lot of the visitors that are coming in are in the Philippines or Filipino. And so if they're in the Philippines, it's 12-hour difference than me. So it's 9:30 in the example, it's 9:40 to 9:37 in the morning here. And it's 9:37 in the evening in the Philippines. And my wife is from the Philippines. And so because of that, therefore, um, I have been introduced to this Filipino live stream community, and I've forced myself to learn a little bit about their dialect, and so I've been learning some sentences, and especially live stream expressions, and so I can greet them and or say very little, but they're teaching. They teach me. The hard part is remembering. Well, it's pretty awesome that you just happened to pop in. Have you ever been or seen my channel before? Unforeseen. I see. Haven't given you a moderator jacket. They call them a jacket. You know where you're correct. Yeah, a lot cheaper cost of living over there. Um, if you didn't already know, if you're a moderator, you get your name turns blue, and they refer to that as a jacket. So, hold on a second. Why is my screen big? Oh, there you go. Wait a minute, that's not my channel. What happened? I hit the wrong button and it took me away from my YouTube channel. Hold on, let me come back. Oh, you don't want it? Okay, no problem. Yeah, the you didn't already know with these uh, most of the Filipino live streams are they're doing it to grow their channel, and the goal is to become monetized, so they can get super chats, donations, and they can get paid for their advertisements that appear on there, or their ads that appear on their videos. That though doesn't really pay. It pays pennies, but the ability for people to donate is there when you're monetized, and that's their goal. At least many of them are using this live streaming to grow their channels, and they do that by sharing their website, their YouTube channel URL. And in order to click on it, in order for it to be, yes, in order for you to be able to, in order for the link, gosh, I can say this, in order for your channel to be a link or clickable, it's got to be blue. Otherwise, it won't. If you try to post your URL in my chat and you're not a moderator, you won't be able to see it. I won't be able to see your URL. So that's why the idea to exponentially grow your YouTube, your subscribers, is for people to go to your channel and to subscribe. So whoever found out, an easy way to do that is to live stream. So you have a chat room on the side, and when you come in, you drop your link. Well, in order to drop your link and for it to be seen, you need to be a moderator. So it's very popular for you to come into my live stream, and I will make you a moderator, hence the reason why I was going to do that with you. And you can drop your link of your channel, and I can click on it. I can go to your channel. I can subscribe, watch your video or part of it, leave a comment, and then come back into the chat room and do it again. And you're just doing that back and forth to each other. So if I have 20 people in my chat room, that's potentially 20 new subscribers, and it can happen quickly. You're dropping your link and everybody's clicking on it. You see? So people, that's what they do. They come in here, they post videos, they drop their link, I click on it, or you click on it, and everybody clicks on it. And what they're doing is they call that, even YouTube calls subscribers bananas. And you're using live stream to grow your banana tree. So when somebody gives you a banana, that means they're giving you a subscriber. You'll hear that term, in these chat rooms. I'll give you a banana, or whatever. And so I got introduced to that, and hence the reason why I got almost 2,000 subscribers. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened pretty quickly. But now, in order for me to be monetized, I need to have watch hours, people watching my videos. Obviously, if you're going to become popular, you got to have people watching. You got to have a subscriber base. And ultimately, you have content where you don't have to, hey, Angel, I'm gonna stop. You don't have to come into a chat room, into a live stream and get subscribers. Now you've got popular content, and people are automatically interested in your content, and they're coming to your channel and subscribing. That's the ultimate goal. But you can become monetized by doing what I said, using that method. And then once you become monetized, a lot of people rely just on live streaming, and they're hoping for gracious people. For example, myself, I'm been known to, donate to these live streamers, $5, $10 here or there. And that's what they're hoping for, people to donate, because $10 in the Philippines is, 500 pesos. And that goes a long ways compared to $10 here in the US. Hence the reason why you said earlier, why people go to Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, Cambodia, Laos, Southeast Asia, to retire. Mexico. Yeah, it's I'm married to a Filipina. I was married actually in her country, and I've traveled there a few times, more than a few, and they're struggling. It's a poor country, and I see it's almost embarrassing to have the amount of money that we have in the USA and bring it to the Philippines, and realize, OMG, now you know why people retire there. They live like kings there. You can take $15,000, $20,000 a year. That's it. That's poverty here in the USA. You can take that amount of money in the Philippines and live generously. $15,000 a year, $20,000 a year, 15, 20,000, no problem. Per year. And to think that you can live that well with that little money. I mean, put that in perspective. OMG. Unless you travel to a country like that and seen, that's it. Listen to Angel. She'll tell you what they're all living in well, a lot of them are OFW, Angels in Hong Kong. Or I'm sorry, Angel, I'm going to forget already. Many of the live streamers are living in foreign countries because they can't afford to live in the Philippines in their own country. So they work in a country that pays them generously, relatively, so they can send money home, so they can support their children, their mother, their father, their uncles, their aunts, their nephews, their nieces. My wife does it right now. Yeah, yeah. Angel's in Hong Kong. Why do you think she's working in Hong Kong? It's sad. You go there, you go to the Philippines, you see the poverty that is, what most of the country is living in. Not everybody, but it's everywhere. And I've got a $10 bill in my pocket that fills my gas tank up. What? It gives me 2 gallons of gas, for $10. Well, maybe 3 gallons. And you can go to the Philippines, and well, gas isn't a whole lot different over there, petrol, but as far as food and commodities, $10 is five. What does 500 pesos buy in the Philippines, Angel? Here, we'll get firsthand. What can you buy with 500 pesos in the Philippines? Food. Start naming some the meal you can put together for 500 pesos. Just start naming some items. All the items you can buy at the market, at the open market, the wet market in the Philippines for 500 pesos. Itemize the things that you can buy. Come on, you guys. Angel, Neat, Kurt Neat, and is there anybody else still here? Ate Ning, if you're listening. I don't know if they're still there, but yeah, Angel will tell you. There are a lot of, no, I'm not speaking for them, but a lot of the ladies are working as caretakers, whether it's in the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Hong Kong, Japan. A lot of them are housekeepers, caretakers, cooks. But Angel will tell you what she does. Yeah, I know what I can buy in the Philippines for 500 pesos. And it's like, what does it take for me to donate $10 to somebody, in a live stream? It's sad. It humbles you really quick. It's like, oh my gosh, really? Yeah. Who isn't poor in the Philippines, Angel? I know there are people that are not, but the majority of the population in the Philippines, they're poor. And the life they can live in Hong Kong is like lavish compared to, what they had before they left. There's the one lady that just popped in, Lynn. She's in uh, Beirut, Lebanon. And she's been there for 22 years working. She lives there. That's her life. That's where she lives now. She doesn't live in the Philippines, but she's actually going home here soon. When they say home, they're referring to the Philippines. But she's basically been a prisoner in Beirut, Lebanon, as a worker. Taking care of an elderly man as his caretaker. I think he's in his 90s. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't, my chat wasn't scrolling, so I was way behind. I was out of touch, unforeseen. Oh, what's that? I just got a doorbell ring on my front door. Sana all. Wait, I have uh, a package on my front door. Hold on a second. Oh, you know what? I don't need to disconnect. I can just carry the Xbox. What do I got? What just came to my front door? My alarm's not on. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, remember I said, oops, wait, what happened? My Xbox controller, I put it down and it hit one of the buttons and it changed to another tab and closed the StreamYard. Yeah, I'm reading your comment, but they all seem happier than us Westerners. The 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 motto for the Philippines of Land of Smiles. Yeah. And you will, I do notice, the amazing what they're so resourceful with what little they have. And hence, and the motto Land of Smiles, is that the right word? Um, is is correct. They have a typhoon, and their streets are flooded, and their barangay is devastated, and they're all out in the flood, up to their bellies, playing in the water, and laughing, and kids are out on. It's like, just another opportunity for another medium for the kids to play in. And yet, when we get hit by a hurricane, and the beach house, the expensive beach houses get devastated, everybody's it makes the headlines and the world news that the eastern seaboard of the United States was devastated. Really? Go to the Philippines. I want to see devastation on a yearly basis. Holy moly. And they're still smiling over there. Everybody can hear me okay? I take it. Yeah, housemaid. Oh, good, good, good. Cool, cool. I'm sorry, Angel. Earlier you said you were one of them. You were a housemaid or you were one of the poor people, you were saying? Or both? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't knocking, any of that. It's just the truth. We were talking about the ability to, or the difference between America or the Western um, situation, compared to, for example, the Philippines, and their economy over there, and why people, go abroad to make money. Unforeseen, Angel, Kurtnit, Salahat. Salahat is everyone. When I went to Iraq and I did my 7 months over there, providing medical support for the United States Marine Corps, OFW work is not just the Philippines. I learned that it's worldwide. People are having to leave their country because they can't find work or make a living in their own country. Their economy is devastated, and they just can't survive. So they have to go elsewhere to work. And we had two overseas foreign workers working for us in Iraq during war, in a war zone. We had two guys. One guy emptied our trash. The other emptied the trash and cleaned the outhouses and emptied they called it the gray water, and took care of that for us on our base. One guy's from Yugoslavia and the other guy was from Albania. And that's what they were doing. They left their country because the guy from Albania he was a truck driver and he was making equivalent to $400 a month in Albania for his family. And it just wasn't cutting it. So he went to Iraq and they're paying him $800 a month. So he doubled his salary, just by leaving his country. Yeah, we had a talk over coffee and tea every night around 8:30 p.m. Him and his coworker from Yugoslavia. And they told me their story. We had two Iraqi interpreters, two Iraqi nationals working for us. One was an ex-Iraqi pilot, and he's working for the United States military as an interpreter. And we're paying him. I don't know what they were getting paid, but obviously more than what they could make in their own country. So, I learned something, OFW work is worldwide. People leave their country to go work in foreign countries. On our air base that we were occupying at the time in Al Assad, you may have heard of it on the news. Al Assad base in the Al Anbar province. We had people from all over the world based on that air base. Nepal, uh, Philippines. We had two OFW workers doing our laundry in a dry cleaning business. that they set up their kiosk or their business on the airbase, and that's where our clothes. Oh, I bet, Angel, huh? Did that open your eyes? Compared to the country that you lived in and what you have and what you see now in Hong Kong. Yeah, so I was saying, we had overseas foreign workers, many of them from all over the country, on the airbase doing different, different jobs, either working in a restaurant or they had their own business serving, food. Or we had Nepal, um, Philippines, uh, Russia, um, Yugoslavia, Albania. Yeah. Anyways, the list goes on. That my eyes were open. Oh my gosh, there's people in Iraq, during war, just doing their send it home to their families so they can survive and living, much better than what they, were, or the ability to back in their own country. Just traveling abroad. If anybody, myself, I'm speaking of particularly, when I got the opportunity to travel to Thailand, for example, that was the first foreign country. Well, Mexico was the first foreign country, but um, that actually wasn't off of the North American continent, Mexico. But I went to Thailand for the first time back in the 80s. It opened my eyes. I've never been out of the United States. And when I entered another country, just traveling to another country and going through the process of, getting a passport and getting a visa stamp and all that, it's brand new to me. And then to step off the airplane, and look around and smell the smells and the weather and all the differences, you definitely realize you're not in the United States anymore. Smells different, looks different, feels different, sounds different, tastes different, you know, and you got educated real quick. And then when you get back to your own country, you realize, wow, look what we have and look what they don't have. And your whole mindset all of a sudden starts changing. More people need the opportunity to get out of their own country. I should say us Westerners, and see what a lot of the world doesn't have compared to what we have. Who, me? Well, I can be quite the jerk as well there, unforeseen. Ask my wife. Well, that's the word I'm looking for. It makes you compassionate just traveling out of your country. You realize, your heart starts to do this, and you're just like, God, where did that come from? Where did that feeling come from? And it just by what I'm seeing, travel from my wife's home city, Iloilo, up into the mountains, and just it's like the visual stimuli that you're seeing is like overwhelming. You're just like, oh no, oh my, oh my, oh, and every every time you turn your head, what you see is you don't want to see it. It's like I don't want to. If I focused on the poverty over there, my vacation would be ruined. If if your compassion, you let that get out of hand, and you're just constantly trying to help, you can't. You just can't. You know, you'll be broke. You have to give away everything. And then you'd have to find the airport so you can change your plane ticket so that you can get home early, just so you can get some more money, so you can get back to work to make some more money. If you gave every time you saw somebody that needed help. When I traveled to Nepal, Thailand wasn't so much. They're a little more westernized, and their economy is a lot better than the Philippines. But there are plenty of rural areas in Thailand that don't have. But where I went was pretty, you know, um, but Nepal, walking the hills of Nepal. Oh my gosh, yeah. And it's like I was walking basically, out of the pages of National Geographic in Nepal. There's nothing out there in the hills, but they made do with what they had, and they were uh, landscaping the hillsides with beasts of burden, and growing their own crops and food, and staying entertained. And the kids were pushing wheels with sticks and laughing and giggling and throwing rocks at each other, and just doing what kids do. And it's just you get to see things that are just totally out of character of what you're used to seeing. And you realize they don't look like they're struggling very bad. When you look at what they actually are making do with what they have. Did you work in Thailand and Singapore, Angel? Is that Singapore is another popular, I've learned, um, not only OFW, but a place to be a tourist. I've heard my Asawa's family vacation to Singapore. Singapore seems to be a popular destination. Yeah, I mentioned before, you may not have heard unforeseen, but not proud of it, but I was married before to a girl from Thailand, speaking of Thailand. And my first two children I'm pointing, are from my first marriage. And so they're Thai mix. My eldest boy, I mentioned my 39-year-old, my 30, well, 39 right now, 39 and 35. Yep, you worked in Singapore. Oh, and you just visited Thailand. Where did you go in Thailand? You arrived in Bangkok, obviously. Did you go to Pattaya Beach, or where did you go? Pattaya. I actually had an opportunity to take the train to northern Thailand, to Chiang Mai. We did I don't know how many days. We took 2 or 3 days and went to northern Thailand, to Chiang Mai, by train. That was quite the experience. Pretty cool. And but her family, my ex-wife, is also from Bangkok, the suburbs of Bangkok. So we did the tourist routine in and around Bangkok, museums and things like that. And we were supposed to go together to Pattaya Beach, where the tidal wave took out that big tsunami. Where was that? In Indonesia back then. Struck Pattaya Beach there in Thailand. Well, I ended up going to Nepal and doing some backpacking in Nepal instead of yeah, instead of going with my wife to Pattaya Beach. I went to Nepal by myself and went backpacking for 2 weeks. I convinced her to let me go. And had a pretty cool 2 weeks in Kathmandu. So her and her aunt and the kids went to Pattaya Beach together. And then she flew back home before I did, and then I followed shortly thereafter. So I never got to see Pattaya Beach. The weather is very similar to the Philippines in Bangkok. I remember that. In Nepal, it was drier. The humidity isn't there, like in Southeast Asia. You're a little more the north by the Himalayas, actually right on the foothills of the Himalayas. What now? I hear and I see people working in Canada, Filipino OFWs all the time, or they're living in Canada. And just recently, I met somebody online that was OFW here in the U.S. Why? Why do you think that's not going to happen? And what's the difficulty? I'm doing this. Is it money, or the jobs aren't available in the USA, or what's the holdup? Money. Yeah, I knew money was a big issue. Um, the application process, right, to get your passport and visa and whatever else is required to get out of the Philippines. Yeah. What about OFW work? Is it also money? Like if you got a sponsor here in the U.S., an OF a work, you found an employer. If you found an employer here in the U.S., do they help with the financial part to get into the USA, or is that still up to you to go through that? Really, as an OFW worker in the USA? My asawa, uh, um, I don't remember the process. I'm sure I could ask her. She's not home right now, but um, as far as what process, how long did the process take after she graduated from school to come to America? Now that was arranged through an employment agency through her school, CPU, um, Iloilo. Oh, you have to pay everything. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's why. Yeah, I believe it was the same for my wife. Even though she had a job lined up for her in the USA after she graduated as a nurse, her family still had to come up with the monies to pay for the application process to get her into the US. Is that correct? Does that sound right? I think her school though helped out with that. They helped out with, okay, now you're going to need this and you're going to need that, and they may have submitted the applications for the students, but you have to come up with the money. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Your employer says, "Oh, we have a job for you, and you have to stay with us for 2 years, but to get to America, you're going to have to pay for the applications." Yeah. Or, Angel, I guess if you have an employer that is generous and says, "Oh, I'll help you with that." Yeah, that would be uh, a good gig, as they say. If you found an employer that helped pay for your way, then that would be a lot easier. Yeah, correct. Of course. Yeah, paying for your finances would be. That's why they use the term sponsor a lot in the Philippines. If you want to be my sponsor, and even the amount of money that is required, to go through the application process to get to the United States is is nothing. Marianne, my dear. Yeah, the amount of money it takes to pay for the application process for an American is, you know, nothing compared to what it takes to make that kind of money in the Philippines. It would be easy for an employer to sponsor, an employer, and I'm sorry, an employee, and bring them to America. Yeah. Marianne, hey Marianne, have you ever worked OFW? I don't I don't know if I asked you that before. Did you ever work abroad or no? Hmm. Okay, okay. Marianne is, let's see if I can remember, Marianne. You're in, um, wait. Marianne is in, are you in Davao or are you in Cebu? No, you're not Cebu. You're Bisaya, right? My gulay, I forgot. Right, where are you? Okay. Right. Where? Which one? I said two. Davao. That's it. Okay, I remembered. Woohoo! That is the southern province of the Philippines, if you didn't already know. unforeseen. There's three major land masses in that archipelago. It's Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, and they have an abbreviation or a shortcut for that. It's Luzviminda, 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 Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Marianne lives in Mindanao. Kurtnit, I don't know where you are. Kurtnit, where are you from? Taga-Asaka or saan ka nakatira? Sa Pinas. Angel, your home is, you're in Luzon, right? Yeah, Manila, the capital. Non-existent. Me too. Well, before I got married to her, when she said I had to go to the Philippines to meet her mother and father, I was like, woohoo, let's go. Never been there before. Yeah, I had been to Thailand prior to that. I guess that was back in the late 80s. Yeah, Luzon, Angel. Um, where were you born, Angel? Were you born in Luzon? And your mom and dad are both from? Did I ask you this question already? Mom and dad are both from Luzon. Are you from Bicol? No, you said Luzon. Bicol is another island. Kurtnit, are you there? All from Luzon. Gotcha. What time is it there, unforeseen? In Scotland, it's 6 hours different or five. It's 10, so it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Scotland. I'd love to hear your accent, by the way. I think the Scottish accent is so cool. I love hearing it. Whenever I hear a family here in the States, it turns my head and I'm like zeroing in on them and I want to listen and try to hear what they're saying. Yeah, 3:30. Yeah. It's 10:30 in the morning here. Yeah, you're 5 hours ahead of me. I'm getting pretty good at figuring out what time it is for everyone in the world, only because of the live stream experience. And people, the Filipinos are all over the world, everywhere. Oh, is there? Now you probably can tell. Would I be able to? The Scottish brogue. Oh, accent. Okay, okay. I didn't even read your accidents, but I think I knew what you meant. Yeah, yeah. Um, just the way English is spoken with the Scottish, you know, um, drawl or whatever, however you want to describe it, is it's just beautiful. That's the best word I could say for me. To my ears, I'm like, it always gets my attention. It's like I'll in a restaurant, I'll turn and look at I know immediately they're from Scotland. And my family are like, what are you listen? What are you doing? I go, just listen. What? Never mind. Just let me listen. My this is just by chance that I had a step grandfather. Oh, I love that Glaswegian, American tourist in the city center. Be very confused, trying to understand directions. um, I was going to say my mom's mom, my late grandma. Uh, she remarried back in the day, and she remarried a man from Edinburgh. And you probably know this. Many of the men over there are named Scotty because they're Scottish. And but his name is Edward, and that's where I got my middle name from. So his name was Edward Thompson without the P. Thomson. And I that's my back that my last name is Scottish, I found out. So yes, Luz Faminda. Um, and then I met this man, as I grew up with this man. And we called him Scotty all the years that we knew him. And he spoke with that beautiful accent. And he called me Getty. And my name's Gary. And he always called me Getty. And it was just so cool to listen to him speak. Oh, somebody's knocking at the door. Someone's knocking at the door. Really? Hold on a second. Yes, sir. Eagle Shield.
Yes, sir. You know what?
No, I'm just reading your shirt.
Oh, I work for a few neighbors right on the street. Really often the same thought. A lot of the ants around the foundation. My truck already in the neighborhood.
It's ironic. I just was up in the apex of the roof there, knocking out a wasp nest.
Really?
And luckily, it was still small, so I only had one visitor that I got to scare away. But yeah, it's the season for that.
It really is. Especially right now, that's why we're trying to get out of here. We're taking care of. Like for instance, we have a few driving, walk over. They really have an advantage to throw along the top. We leave a fair amount of blocker. That way they don't come back. I think that's cool. Usually it would be little apartment, but it can be the 325 and the G19 is very close.
What's the neighbor? Did you take care of, or did you take care of the neighbor? I think you should. I appreciate it. You have a man, but nothing.
No, you're in service.
No, I don't.
You just take care of yourself. Okay. It's use like a pump can around the house.
That I do, or just a over-the-counter spray can, the long distance.
Yeah, great.
I've had the wasp. They find their spaces behind the corner molding, along the.
Yeah.
Or those places, but I'm speaking of the edge of the house over there.
Oh, yeah.
The garage, yes. That triangle molding, hospital.
Yeah.
Big one, I was able to get it before.
I mean, they should have seen it at that song yesterday. We had just tied her up the day before, and I was going by to check on her. The service was supposed to come later that day. I didn't see it the day before. There was a 2 foot by 3 foot horn.
Hanging?
It was like stuck inside the house. It was like up in the corner. 2 foot down, 3 foot wide.
Did she even know it was there?
Never knew.
It was hornets?
Yeah. The whole she said,
Dude, that's not funny.
No.
That's dangerous.
It's super dangerous. And
I know.
she called us out there. Usually we just do door to door, unless you guys call us out here. She called us out there, and we went and looked, and nobody noticed it. She was like, "So my bees have been biting my dog because she takes care of beekeeping." And I was like,
Really?
Yeah. We're like, yeah. We saw it, and we were like, I don't think it's the bees that are stinging your dog.
Biting your dog.
I don't think it's the bees. I think it might be the giant hornets. The bees look fine. They're not really
You know
bothering.
where the MC police department is?
Yeah. So,
There's a lake there.
right outside the police department. Well, I do, I used to fish there.
Fishing.
And, yeah, and walking along the shore, there's a new break wall that they built in front of the police department. It's like it's a elevated platform where you can lean over the railing and look over the water.
Like a pier sort of thing.
Well, yeah, on the downside of that cement break wall, underneath this, where the deck overhangs, next to the water's edge, I walk around with my fishing pole and I hear it. And I look up and there's that bell-shaped massive thing hanging underneath, and I thought, ooh, oh, and they're buzzing. I can see them coming in and leaving.
Are you dealing with anything in the back? Can you answer it?
No, there's been some mice finding their residence in my barbecue, but I chased them.
Take a look real quick.
Yeah, you're probably looking for something I won't be, but I'll meet you back there. Okay.
Well, as you're hearing, I'm entertaining a rodent and pest control kid.
Hold on. Yeah, I had a family of
Okay, that was a little bit, that wasn't very painful. Poor guy. But thank you, but no thank you. Okay, did everybody listen in on my pest control conversation? He was a nice kid, though. That's good. Isabella, oh, I'm scrolling back. That's right. That's right. Right. I remember now. Did anybody fall asleep yet? Angel, are you in bed yet? Laying down? Yeah, I'm looking at myself on YouTube. It turned out pretty clear, didn't it? Unforeseen. Once I pushed that autofocus button. And who's this? Marianne. Oh, you're on live stream. I'm looking at you now. Well, you're not there, but I see your channel's open. Awesome. Yep, yep. Well, thanks to you guys, we troubleshot the camera dilemma at the beginning. Oh, are you practicing? Or you want? And this camera, for the life of me, I can't figure out. I've tried the ports that it has here. There's a UHD, there's a remote, and there's a what's this other one called? Digital in out, audio out. Anyway, I can't read. Something's covering it up. And yeah, neither of them charge. So I have to rotate these batteries every time one dies. Okay, now I gotta figure out. Okay, I got the dead one in my hand. Reinstalled. Yeah, I gotta rotate the batteries. So it just died. And I'm coming back, I think. Yeah, there we go. Is it clear now? Let's see. Do I have to hit that button again? Let me see. Yes, I do. It's not in focus. Let's see. Did that fix it? Yeah, I think that did fix it. Hold on. Let me focus on the pillow here. Or let me take away that background, the virtual background. And then I can focus on my pillow. That's the drill here. That's the closest thing. Let me focus on the pillow. That pillow right there. Oh, I just took a picture. But now it's focused on the pillow, and that's where my head is. So, okay, let's see. Better? Much better. Let's see how I look on YouTube. Yeah, it's clear. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. How come that didn't work? Oh, there we go. And now I got to refocus every time I touch it. Okay. All right. And a background. Should I put the background back? Ambulance background? Or should I do a scenic background? What about the sunset? Ooh. Whoa. That's kind of cool. I think I'll keep that one. My blue shirt contrasts pretty good. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, every year around this time, the pest control guys will come by and they want to sell you a program or a treatment um, plan, and yeah, we're already paying too much for other things. And I don't really have any problems with pests. The neighbor across the street, um, I guess, has bugs because they have a regular treatment company that comes by and treats their yards and so on. And I actually think they chase their bugs over to here because they don't want to be over there, so they got to go somewhere. So the least path of resistance is across the street over to my house. What new song are you learning, Angel? Oh, you know what I did learn is I can um, do a picture in picture on these tabs, and it minimizes the tab down in the corner in a small screen. Let's see, not available there. Um, oh, Filipino song, Bibi Dao, Bibi Dao Korea Hugo song. What is that? Sorry, interpret that for me. Is that the name of the song, or oh, the title is Bibi Dao? Oh, and it's a Kuya Hugo song. Is that what you? Gotcha. I think I understand it. Kim, Lynn, are you there? So any progress on your trip home, Lynn? Oh, with this narrow profile vertical live, you really can't see that background a whole lot very well. So therefore, let's change it back to the image here. Oh, goodness. Oh, okay. Good to go. Now I have a song in my brain. Guess which song I'm repeating in my brain. I'm about to find the lyrics here. Let me see. If I disappear, I will be right back. Again, I'm going to try to open up another tab. Oh, wait. I keep forgetting I have a gadget here in my hand. Lyrics. How about I'm singing it in my brain. I forgot the name of it. Okay. There we go. Good old Ray Valera. There's a clue. What song am I thinking of? Do you sing or unforeseen? It's. I was saying earlier. Even though I'm married to a Filipina, I only know a few, sentences and words, and I know the meaning of a lot of them, but not all of them. So I can say things, but not even know what I'm saying because I can pronounce their words. It's the same Spanish vowel language. And so if you know the sound of the Spanish vowels, then you can say their words. I mean, you just literally pronounce all the letters and vowels. It's pretty much. So like that word that she spelled Bibitaw, the vowels are ah for a, eh like elephant for e, and then aei. The letter I is pronounced like a long e or a double e. So with ah, eh, e, and then o for o, and then u for you. That's the Spanish vowels. They use the same. So if you pronounce that word, it's B tau. AW is out. So you learn that, and you're it's pretty easy to pronounce the words, and they pronounce all their vowels. So if it's double A, it's ah. If it's double I, it's ee. If it's triple I, it's eee. And isn't there a word that has triple I and triple A? And I think, is there one with four vowels in a row? I don't remember. But you pronounce them all. So I know if you give me lyrics in Tagalog, I can pretty much pronounce the words, although the accent I get wrong a lot. And that I have to ask somebody, okay, what is pronounce this word for me? And then I listen to that. Oh, okay, the accent is on the second syllable or the first syllable or whatever, the last syllable. So I'm speaking of a song. It's called Kahit Maputi na ang buhok ko. And you see, I pronounced all those words, and I forget what all that means, but I know it's something about my gray hair. What is it? I'll love you even though your hair grows gray, or I'll take care of you. Kahit maputi na ang buhok ko. Anyway, so I can sing the song, but I forgot what the words are. I don't remember the meanings, but I know the gist of the song. It's about a couple growing old with each other and telling each other that I'll love you even though your hair gets gray, or even though you're getting older. Should I sing the lyrics with a cappella? Uh, Angel, Lynn, Unforeseen. I think you've heard me sing this before. With no music. Kung tayo ay matanda na, sana'y di tayo magbago. Kailan ba, nasaan may ito ang pangarap ko? Makuha mo pa kayang ako'y hakan at yakapin. Hanggang pagtanda natin. How am I doing? Nagtatanong lang sa'yo, ako pa kaya ibigin mo? Oh, I ran out of breath. Kung maputi na ang buhok ko, pagdating ng araw, ang iyong buhok ay puputi na rin. You see, I'm just pronouncing the letters. Sabay tayong mga ngarap ng nakaraan sa ating ang nakalipas ay ibabalik natin. Ipapaalala ko sa'yo ang aking pangako na ang pag-ibig ko'y laging sa'yo. Kahit maputi na ang buhok ko. And then the last verse. Ang nakalipas ay ibabalik natin. That's not right. Ang nakalipas. I forgot the lyrics now. I mean the melody. Di na ang buhok ko. Ang nakalipas ay ibabalik natin. Ipapaalala ko sa'yo ang aking pangako na ang pag-ibig ko'y lagi. I keep running out of breath when I say that line. Kahit maputi na ang buhok ko. Okay, that's the end. That was for the ladies out there. Translate for me, Angel. Kahit maputi. Or is that a difficult translation? Kahit maputi. Is something about gray? When my hair turns gray? White hair. Okay. What is kahit? Is that white? Oh, turns white. Okay. Turns white. Which word is white? Kahit or maputi? Ah, maputi is white. Okay, okay. There we go. So it's turns white, my white hair. Yeah. When my, yeah, white hair turns white. I mean, when my hair turns white. Hmm. Okay, let me break the silence with that music I had on earlier. Just something to break the silence here. Okay. Ooh, that's a weird. Ladies and gentlemen, come one, come all, come see Jojo the dog-faced boy. He neither eats nor sleeps, nor crawls nor creeps. He's 15 inches across the eyes and smells like a wolf. He's Jojo the dog-faced boy. Come one, come all. Come see Doc MacKay. He's 6 inches across the eyes and smells like a bush. Wait. What's my kitty smell like? It smells like Old Spice. Oh, Keely is armpit. Over. Oh my gosh, I forgot your name already. Not overseer. I want to call you overseer. Unforeseen. Okay. Got Oh, you know what? One of the first things my Asawa said about me when she first met me, Angel. What do you want to know? What is your concern when you first meet a white person, a Kano or a foreigner? What is one of the first? The first things you notice about them. Come on, be honest. What is one of your concerns about meeting a foreigner? Let me see if you say the same thing my Osawa said. Can you think? What would you what would you want to know? What do you want to make sure about me if you met me for the first time? Come on, be honest. Here, I'm going to read your comment. I'm adjusting the volume to the music. But a good person, okay, that good person. Well, that you're going to have to wait, and find out if I'm a good. That takes a little bit of time, right? But what about immediately? When you first walk up to him, do you look at him? There was another thing she looked at. She told me after, when she first met me, she looked at one thing right away. And I didn't realize she did that, but she said she looked at something. And I went, really? Talaga? She said, yep. One of the first things I noticed about you. When you walk up to somebody, when you first meet them, you kind of do the, head to toe. You look at them. What are you looking at? What are you looking for? Anything particular in a man? His face, his hair, his feet, anything about him? I'm sure it depends on each person, but I'll tell you what my wife looked at. What do you look at when you meet a man? Like when you look at a man, other than looking at his face, do you look at his face? Do you look at his hair? Do you look at his clothes? What do you look at? What is your focus? What is Especially if I'm going to give you a clue, especially a Filipino. What is very popular in the Philippines? What do you see at okay, their face, but no, that wasn't what she looked at. She already knew my face because we met each other online, so we send pictures to each other. This was before smartphones. So we weren't able to do video chat, although there were webcams, but it wasn't smartphones yet. You had to buy the separate webcam, but we didn't have webcams. So we exchanged pictures. So we already know what we look like. I know what she looks like. She knows what I look like. So if you already know what they look like and you're going to meet him for the first time in person, and there he is standing, what are you going to look at? My wife looked at something and she told me later, and I went, you looked at that? And it's nothing bad. It's just, I didn't realize she looked at something. And I went, oh, well, okay. I'll tell you. She looked at my shoes. I mean, what else would a Filipino look at, right? My shoes. She said she looked at my shoes, and I was wearing my dress shoes. So they were shined and polished, and black and nice. But she looked at my shoes, and I thought, really? Talaga? Tuod? So I impressed her with my shoes, number one. And then there was something else she told me later. Shoes, really? Yep. And then there was one more thing she noticed about me. Well, this came later, but even today, if you ask my asawa, she'll tell you this, and that is, I don't stink. Because foreigners, especially certain countries, have their own, how do I say this politically correct? They have their own acceptance on body odor. Some people take care of it, other people don't, and so on. Well, she told me, well, thank God you don't smell. I went, well, thank God I don't smell also. Yep. So yeah, I'm always wearing. I don't wear cologne, but I wear underarm deodorant, and so I'm always. Ask my wife. She's. I notice a lot of Filipinos. I'm going to say most Filipinos are really concerned and really good about their hygiene. So they always kept. They're clean. They take care of their skin. They take showers. And they're very meticulous about their hygiene. So that was cool. And so because of that, she makes sure that she introduced me to a lot of really nice habits to get into. Things that even my family, my mother, did not teach us. I'm looking outside. I thought I saw something move. Yeah, hygiene is number one. So it was also in my family, but there was like little, gosh, I keep seeing like a flash. What is that? Is that like sunshine? Okay, anyways. There's little things that are different, like taking your shoes off before you go in the house. That's not always the case in my house. We wore our shoes in the house. Although if our feet were dirty and muddy from playing in the dirt or playing in the grass then my mother had us take our shoes off. But if we were just running or going inside and outside, it was not uncommon to wear our shoes at the house. Well, in the Filipino house, no. You take your shoes off outside and you leave your chanelas, out on the porch. And this because you're Filipino, the whole doorstep in a Filipino home is filled with shoes or sandals or chanelas, Everybody's chanelas is outside. So to this very day, I wear no shoes and nothing but socks or bare feet in the house. That's right. You don't wear shoes inside the house. And we have house clothes. You know this because you're Filipino, but she introduced this to me and I love it. I love this whole comfort routine. When you're in the house, we have house clothes. You know this. And when you're outside, gosh, I keep saying that. Heck. When you're outside, you might change clothes to go do, outside work. But when I grew up, what I wore for the day, I wore that in the house and out of the house. And I went in the house and I sat down on the couch and sometimes I took my shoes off if my mom was yelling at me. But otherwise, we don't put our feet up on the couch or you don't put your feet up on the furniture. but we were wearing our shoes, so you don't put your shoes up on the furniture. Well, in a Filipino home, yeah, you don't wear your shoes in the house. And you take your shoes off outside. And when we get in the house, I go in the bedroom and I change into my pajamas. Oh, I can't, it doesn't show up, but I'm in my pajamas right now. This is my house clothes. This shirt, is the shirt I wear for 2 or 3 days in the house, or 4 days, maybe 5 days. But it's for the house. I don't wear it outside. I go in and I change, or going outside. And so it's like a very comfortable way of living, and it's very clean. Hi, April. Again, April BZ. You don't have a jacket, April. Would you like? Would you like a jacket? There you go, April. So I've been doing, I've been married for 22 years. So, now it's normal for me. It's a habit. And when I was married the first time, that Asian influence was also introduced to me. So you don't wear shoes in the house. Um, and uh, what was I going to say? Was um, oh, there was something else I was going to say, and I forgot. Being married the first time to an Asian, the Asian culture. Not wearing your shoes. Um, what was the other thing? Um, April, are you Filipino also? I'm looking at your profile picture, but I can't really. It looks like you are. I should have mentioned. Bye, Angel. Good night. Good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Good sleep. Sweet dreams. Kurt Mead. If I put the hot gun down, Courtney, will you join me on stage? Oh, you're leaving also? Me? Welcome. Walang naman. Everybody's going to sleep. Tulog, tulog. Matulog na ako. Liwan ko lang. Ay, ay, ay. I'm forgetting my words, Kurt. While you're still online. Translate that for me. Liwan ko lang. Is CP computer? I have to learn your shortcuts also. Boy, this thing's lagging. I can't even use my controller to post text or anything. Bizarre. Oh, you'll leave your phone on. Thank you, dear. I can't meet you. Can I ever meet you, or is that a no-no? Oh, CP is cell phone. Okay, okay. It's okay. I'm learning. I see that a lot. CP, cell phone. Duh. Now, Kurt, me, I think I asked you this before. You're the neat part of the name, correct? Or is that both relative to you? Kurt, me. Or is Kurt somebody else? I'm confused. Okay, you did tell me that. I remember that. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Well, I don't know who you are. Are you live on your live streams, or I mean, I don't know what you look like. Or does anybody know what you look like? Yeah, my Asawa's sister is married to a Black American and has a son. He's a giant. The son, he's like 6'4", something like that. So his dad. His dad's not quite as tall, but he's from Texas. But they're living here. Matter of fact, about 10 miles from us. Yeah. Do you live here in the U.S.? Or I probably asked you that question also. I don't remember. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn the music off. I was asking, are you living in the United States or you're in the Philippines? There we go. Turn the music off. Got you, got you. In the Philippines? Good, good. If if I may ask, was he there on vacation in the Philippines? Or what was, if you don't mind me asking, how did you meet him? Everybody has their story, I understand. And even, you know, Hmm. Or if it's a long story, it's okay if you don't want to talk about it. I was just curious. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to um, end my live. It's okay, Kurt. I mean, to me, um, it's not important. Another time, next time, maybe I will ask you, and we can talk about it later. No problem. I was just trying to have more conversation. But I think I'm going to end my live. And maybe I'll do this tomorrow morning, same time. You're welcome, Nate. Have a good sleep. See you guys. Good night, everybody. Lynn, Angel, Salaha.